Hi everyone, I hope you're well tonight and still managing and surviving in the world of community pharmacy in Scotland. We did get some interesting stats today, or I did when I was speaking to one of my colleagues at Public Health Scotland today about various issues, and he did mention that actually the e-prescribing messages, so the messages going from doctor surgeries up to the central registration system where it's pulled down to the pharmacies for you guys, on Tuesday, the amount of messages going there were the lowest for a Tuesday for around 18 months. So it does seem that things are at least calming down and maybe the message has got through, or as we've been saying for a couple of weeks now, patients can order no more medicines. So hopefully this lull is giving you time to get organised again, albeit I do appreciate workforce challenges are still there. And there's still a lot to be getting on with other challenges in and around the pharmacy and the premises, etc. So a few things to just briefly go through tonight. Finance being the first. So we had the significant advance announcement a couple of days ago, which I talked about, and Harry went and talked a bit more about last night. The next point, I suppose, is around new money, which I've had quite a few queries from members about today. I'm acutely aware about the GP announcement and their settlement around monies going to them for workload, etc. Unfortunately, it's not in our control as to what is approved and when, and equally it's not in the Rosemary's team's control, so that does sit elsewhere. All I can do though is say that and assure you that the executive at CPS, being plugged into office bearers, and others in the organisation, that we're trying our utmost to get that sorted for you, alongside Rosemary and her team. In fact, in the last hour, so had to then amend my script for this evening, if you can call it a script. But in the last hour, we have had some further developments. So I am hopeful actually that tomorrow we will get somewhere and we will be able to share more information with you on funding in terms of workloads, costs, etc. being recognised, because it is there, it is in the pipeline, and I just wanted to assure you that, as well as the advance, which is good in itself and will cover much of these costs in the short term, we do need to be recognised as others are. In terms of other queries we're getting into the office, we're still getting a lot of queries around a lot of people looking for national decisions on a number of fronts. For local things that have been devolved locally, and Harry did talk a bit about this last night. So things like the humanitarian assistance centres, local resilience partnerships that are plugged into the delivery for the shielded patients. So these are patients who are categorised as having to self-isolate for 12 weeks, which a lot of pharmacies will deliver to, but there'll be extended needs for these guys, and these local resilience partnerships are organising that at a local level. Please look out for local communication on that. The COVID hubs and how triage is working between the prescribers in those centres and other prescribers such as dentists. Please again look locally. There are recommendations and frameworks out there, but there of course needs to be local consideration on what can happen on the ground there. So look out for communication on that front. The National Education Scotland are partners and friends there. They are managing the return to practice of those who are recently off the register for technicians and pharmacists, and eventually this will be rolled out to other volunteers as well to come through to pharmacy. They'll be working alongside local health board HR teams to identify where need is. So community pharmacy is part of that, as well as the wider healthcare teams. So again, have a look there. ECS access, that's another one. Now, I've applied for my ECS access just yesterday within the health board that I operate in, so I was aware of the process. So please get that ready for Saturday, guys. That would be much appreciated for my shift then. We are certainly trying to coordinate and support, and if you look on the website, as Harry says last night, we're putting as much as we can on there. Certainly you can touch base with us in the office, but again, bear in mind a lot of this we might have to turn you around and say, if you can have a look certainly with your local contacts, that would be much appreciated. But it's such a moving feast. It's such, we're developing systems both nationally and locally at a pace unheard of, as you can appreciate, through this pandemic situation. And health board teams, health and social care partnerships, again, are doing things at a pace that would have been unimaginable. So I dare say we won't get everything right. We'll certainly try to. Equally, I'm sure there'll be more than a few teething problems locally with some of these things, but we need to know the issues. They need to know the issues. And certainly our aim from Community Pharmacy Scotland perspective is to minimise the impact on pharmacy teams at this time when you're under extreme pressure. Another important and I suppose emotive area that we're getting feedback from pharmacy teams on is around Easter opening, and this is a continually evolving situation. And we know this is difficult because many pharmacy teams up and down the country will be looking for a much needed break at this point. And if I can just separate the GP issue, this isn't really the GP issue that we're talking about here, but the wider NHS will probably be looking for us to step up in some way, shape or form over and above maybe the existing public holiday provision that has been agreed and planned already. Again, not understating the magnitude of the ask that is going to be asked of you, but there's a whole host of reasons why our colleagues at NHS 24, secondary care colleagues and the public will require community pharmacy to operate over those days. As I said, we don't have all the details of what that looks like. It probably will look like an element more than currently is planned. The pandemic, of course, is potentially going to hit its peak at that time. And again, the impacts on workforce for pharmacy are no different from others. So again, there'll be challenges around that. And again, this is an evolving situation. So we'll hope to come back to you with more firm detail on what this looks like. Again, it's an element of local decision making because the health boards have the responsibility as the statutory bodies for adequate pharmaceutical care provisions. So they'll be working hard with local areas to try and determine access. It is an area where we are looking again to get recognised through funding, or an element of it to be recognised through funding. So again, we'll hope to have more detail on that in the coming days, not just for this public holiday, but again, this is likely to be slightly longer term, so we're looking ahead to May as well. And local planning will be so important, as I say. So, yep, sorry to maybe deliver that message. We've had feedback loud and clear from pharmacy teams that is not really what they're looking for. They're looking for a break, and I can completely appreciate that. And many of you hopefully will still get that break, but local areas have to be covered. And as I say, it is evolving. We're still speaking with individuals, people, to get a sense of what's going on in different areas. And Harry will probably come back more on that tomorrow. But again, thanks for everything. And I suppose this unprecedented area that we're in terms of this pandemic has never been seen before. And we are still seen as, an important part of that jigsaw, that using an analogy that Harry's used previously, we're still the keystone. Medicine supply is important, and keeping those people out of secondary care in the next couple of weeks, if we know what's coming, the wave that might be coming there, is going to be crucially important, unfortunately. So, on that note, if I just come back to maybe some of the shout-outs, which many of you seem to be enjoying, and to be fair, you're richly deserving of. Gordon Larg and the two pharmacies up there in Huntly, hi there, up in NHS Grampian. Great work so far, guys. I know you'll be serving that community very ably over this period, so keep it going, teams. Alistair Farquhar and teams up there in NHS Grampian as well. Keep it going, guys. Alistair's been telling me how hard you guys have been working up there in NHS Grampian. Wilma Stewart from Boots and Happy Killock, and I just really wanted to say Happy Killock as much as anything else, but that's in Dundee apparently, so I did not know that. But again, the team there, without a regular manager who has a baby bump and is not working at the moment. They've been putting in extra shifts up there, so well done, guys. Big shout out to the Boots Babes, not my words, but the words of Lee Riddle. So hi Lee and team in Castle Douglas, the health centre down there. Again, great effort. Lee's been writing in to say how hard you guys are working, and in her words, you are awesome. Boots again, Central Scotland, Boots and Craig Marlock near Cumbernauld. So Susan Wilson has asked for a shout out again because you guys are just doing so much great stuff at the minute, so thanks for that. John Fowley, again, a bit of an NHS Grampian loving tonight, but Edsall, Newton Hill and Garth D, so thanks John and thanks teams. I know you are going above and beyond in recent weeks, as so many teams are. And finally, Lloyds and Burnt Island. So Farzana Hack, thanks Farzana, you were in there the other day and witnessed how tough it is for the guys again in Lloyds and Burnt Island, but they're certainly performing and going above and beyond there. So the question last night that Harry posed was around Lamb Home is where the Italian chapel is, up there in the Orkney Islands. So Lamb Home is the answer to last night's question. So my question is, the sitcom Brushstrokes first aired in 1986. Who reached number 13 in the UK charts with Because of You, the theme tune to the series? So the sitcom Brushstrokes first aired in 1986. Who reached number 13 in the UK charts with Because of You, the theme tune to the series? So Harry will have the answer for you to that tomorrow. So hopefully tomorrow, guys, we'll have another update with clarity in some areas that I've talked about tonight, Easter and finance being some. We'll keep these going. I hope you still are finding them of value. And just thanks very much for everything, guys. Can't speak highly enough of the pharmacy workforce over the last few weeks. And I'll see you again in a few days. Thank you. Bye.